Blaire by Jennifer Castro. Chapter 3, My New Normal. We'd barely pulled into the parking lot of Hudson Point Park when I spotted my best friend, Theodora Dimitro. Well, it was hard to miss her. She was standing next to the park pavilion, wearing a green bathing suit, a fluffy yellow feather boa, big black sunglasses, and a plastic tiara that read, "Birthday Girl" in glittering pink letters. As soon as Dad stopped the car, I grabbed my towel and Thea's gift and hopped out. "Darling," Thea said in the fake English accent she sometimes likes to do. "Thank goodness you're here." "I wouldn't miss it for the world," I answered in my fake English accent, which wasn't nearly as good as Thea's. "Happy birthday," I gave her a giant hug. The feather boa tickled my nose. "Thanks," said Leah in her regular voice. "Happy summer. 2 months of swimming and slumber parties and movies and the county fair," we said together. "We are going to have so much fun," I said, waving goodbye to Dad. Thea grabbed my hand and dragged me toward the pebbly beach. Hudson Point Park is on an inlet of the Hudson River, where you can swim and go kayaking. Our other friends were already in the water. Rosie and Sabrina were practicing handstands, and Piper and Maddie and Victoria seemed to be having a splash war, though I wasn't sure who was winning. "Speaking of fun," I said to Thea as I kicked off my sandals and peeled off my clothes, "you'll never guess what I did this morning." We joined our friends in the river, and I told everyone about Honeybun's escape. Thea did a hilarious impersonation of a chinchilla on the run. By the time Miss Dimitrio called us up to the pavilion to eat, everyone's stomach hurt from laughing. "I'm starving," Piper said as we walked across the sand. My own stomach growled. But when we reached the food table, I stopped short. My good mood appeared faster than a chinchilla racing through a B&B. "Pizza? I can't have that. Cheese and crackers? Only if I skip the cheese. Sour cream dip? Nope, no way." There was other food to choose from, but all I could see was the dairy stuff I couldn't have. It had only been 2 weeks since I sat in an office with my mom and dad listening to a doctor about my test results. "Blaire has lactose intolerance," she told us. Lactose intolerance explained why I had a lot of bloating, belly aches, and other tummy trouble this year. It had all gotten so bad that my mom took me to see a pediatric gastroenterologist, a doctor who treats kids with digestive problems. He told us there was good news. I didn't need medicine, surgery, or anything like that. "Treatment is easy peasy," he said. Easy peasy for him to say. He wasn't the only one who had to stop eating all dairy foods overnight. Hopefully, I'll be able to eat dairy again someday. Until we knew how serious my intolerance was, we had to be super strict about it. Absolutely no dairy for the next 3 months. "It'll be an adjustment," he'd said as he handed my mom a packet of information on how to eat dairy-free. "Try to think of this as your new normal." Well, so far my new normal was the worst. As Sabrina grabbed a piece of gooey cheese pizza, my eyes stung with tears. I took some veggies, fruit, and crackers and chips and squeezed into a spot at the table between Maddie and Rosie. Thankfully, no one seemed to notice that I skipped half the food. But a little while later, when Thea's dad brought out the birthday cake, Miss Dimitrio placed a single cupcake in front of me. "It's dairy-free," Thea announced. The man at the bakery said you can't even tell the difference. I gave Thea a surprised look. She was the only friend I told about my new normal, and I'd asked her to keep it a secret. "Wait a sec," Piper said. "Blaire can't eat dairy? Since when?" Now everyone was staring at me. They were all my friends, but I didn't want to talk about this. Not at Thea's party. I shrugged. "A couple of weeks ago." "Can you eat any dairy?" Victoria asked. "Cheese, butter, milk?" I shook my head. "What about soy milk?" said Sabrina. "What about ice cream?" Piper added, sounding really worried. I didn't say anything. Out on the river, one of the boats sounded its horn. I considered swimming out there, getting on the boat, and sailing away from this conversation. Mr. Demetrio lit the candles on the cake. "Let's sing," he said. I did my best to belt out happy birthday along with everyone else, but I couldn't help feeling a little irritated at Thea for spilling the beans about my food issue. While Mr. Demetrio passed out pieces of cake, Sabrina pointed to my cupcake, which had white frosting and silver sprinkles. "It's so pretty," she said. "How does it taste?" I took a tiny bite. It wasn't the cream cheese frosting I loved, and it felt super weird to be eating something different from everyone else. "Yummy," I said, trying to sound enthusiastic. I didn't want Thea to feel bad. Thea put her arm around me and gave me a squeeze. "I'm sorry you had to buy special food for me," I muttered. "It's so embarrassing." "Don't feel embarrassed," she said. "Tons of people have food allergies," added Rosie. "My cousin can't eat anything with peanuts in it." "Can you take medicine?" Sabrina asked. "My brother's lactose intolerant, and he takes a pill before he eats dairy stuff." "Tried that," I said softly. "Didn't work for me. Sometimes that happens, I guess." Aunt Maddie said, "Hey, wait, are you going to be able to cook?" She put down her fork. That was one big question I'd been asking myself. If I couldn't eat some of the ingredients in my favorite recipes anymore, could I still make those foods? How could I cook something like creme brulee, one of my specialties, and then not eat it? Miss Demetrio touched my hand. Blaire will find a way to do what she loves. She's a born chef. That's who she is. No, I thought. That's who I was. "Time for gifts," Thea's dad said a few minutes later. Everyone gathered around Thea, who was smiling about as big as I'd ever seen her smile. We'd been BFFs since we were 5, and we'd always been together on our birthdays. But the truth was, right now, I just didn't want to be here. I turned to Thea's mom. "Miss Demetrio," I said quietly, "I'm not feeling so well. Can you call someone at the farm to come pick me up?" She searched my face for a moment before she could say, "Of course, sweetie. I'm sorry to hear that." She made the call, then told me my grandpa was on his way. I was super relieved to see his van show up a few minutes later. Thea stopped her gift opening and walked me to the parking lot. We're going out on kayaks after gifts. Are you sure you won't stay?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm sorry." "No, I'm sorry about the cupcake. I just wanted you to have something special while we had cake." "I know you meant well," I said. "I'm just not ready to talk about it with everyone yet." I gave my BFF a quick, awkward hug, then climbed into the van, trying not to cry.